Hi there, welcome to the Study Notes Project Maths Revision course. Today we're going to be looking at a basic introduction to permutations and combinations. And while these are quite similar concepts, there is an important difference between them. So what exactly are permutations and combinations? Well, the best way to think about these is to think about a basketball team going to play a game. Imagine there are 5 players going to the match, but there are only 4 places in the taxi. So one of the team members will have to walk. How many different ways can the team fill a taxi? So we can try and do this in our heads, and if we think about it a little, we can see that the answer is 5 different ways. Each time one player has to walk, and 4 others can get the taxi. The players in the taxi don't mind what seats they have to sit in. So for example, in the first case, the purple player might walk, and the other 4 players can get the taxi. In the second case, the yellow player might walk, and the other 4 players can get the taxi. So this was fairly straightforward, but what happens if we have larger numbers? So what happens if we have 10 players in a minibus that can take 8 players? How many ways can we fill up the bus if no one minds where they're sitting? This is where we can use the n choose or notation, which you'll often see written like this. What we are basically saying here is, how many ways can we choose or objects from a total of n objects? In our case, we are asking how many ways can we fill 8 seats from a panel of 10 players. And if we have a calculator, we can easily key this in using the NCR button. So we can key this into our calculator and we find out that there are 45 possible combinations, each one having a different set of 8 players. The key part to recognize here is that the order of the players sit in their seats won't matter at all. But what happens when they get to the game? So let's imagine only the 8 players on the minivan make it to the game in time. How many different teams can we make with our 8 players? Unlike the bus where it didn't matter where the players were sitting, we now have to consider the order of the players. We want to look at different players in different positions on the court. We want to know how many permutations can we make up. So let's draw some boxes to represent each position on the team. So in total we'll have 5 boxes. Now we can look at each box individually. For the first position, all 8 players are available, so we can place an 8 above the first box. And we can imagine that we've selected the purple player for the first position. In the next position, there's going to be 7 players available, and we can imagine that we could select the blue player for this position. And we can continue on with these, selecting the 3 remaining boxes. Now, how do we calculate how many possible permutations we can have? Well, that's pretty straightforward. We just have to multiply 8 by 7 by 6 by 5 by 4, and keying that in a calculator, we work out that there is 6,720 permutations. So it's quite a large number, because we're not only considering all those players, but also all the positions that they could definitely play. So, in summary, the key difference here is going to be order. A combination, we don't consider the order, just like the players on the bus, who don't mind where they're sitting. But for a permutation, like the players on the team that turned up, we need to consider their positions and so their order. Of course, there's a lot more to combinations and permutations, and we'll cover these in the coming videos. So in summary, a combination is a selection of objects in any order, and a permutation is an arrangement of numbers